what have we done and what are we planning on doing? So we've had a couple contract type workers in the past for the e-commerce business. None right now. But for a number of months, I had a virtual assistant for primarily inventory management and repricing of mostly used books and a few other things related to that business. Paid her hourly part-time. And overall, it was good. And I think the biggest lesson I learned from that is I didn't have a clear idea of exactly what my expectations were for her before I hired her. So that was kind of a learning lesson there. Other contract workers we've had in the past for that same business, we've had a couple local used book sourcers, paid them commission per book that they found that met certain criteria. I spent time training them, gave them the tools that were needed. And overall that went well. Their motivation level and excitement and drive to find books was not anywhere close what to mine was when I was doing that same job. And that was something that I learned from that experience. When you hire someone, they might not be as motivated as you, especially when you are the business owner and you have the passion for the business. You maybe see a little bit more of the rewards and the growth of the business and have more motivation there. As we move forward, there's a couple big things we desire to delegate out. Now some of these we already have done. So we have a CPA, like Kelly mentioned earlier, and we met with him a few times to kind of strategize and talk about where we're at and other plans and things we can do to take advantage of the rest of this year tax-wise. For our Turo business, I think we've talked about it before. We hired a photographer to photograph the vehicle. We could have done that ourselves for free with our smartphones, whatever, but it wouldn't have been near as good, the product that we got from Jordan at JR Squared Photography. Really, really good product. Very happy we chose to hire that out. And in addition to that, we've had many trips where we hired a detailer to clean the vehicle in between. That saved us time. We also sometimes have paid a little bit extra in a parking cost to keep it at the airport so that we can avoid having to drive over there and spend an hour and do the vehicle shuffle and then figure out where to park it at our house. So sometimes it's worth paying $30 to save ourselves a trip to the airport and a trip back, and then a trip a couple days later to the airport to drop the vehicle back off and a trip back. Moving forward, what kind of business things are we looking to delegate? I think the big one Kelly mentioned is video production work. As we try to grow our marketing presence, primarily for the travel business, Travel Last Frontier, we strive to put out more social media content, more videos, ramp up our website and the information available there, as well as things related to this podcast. We're not video experts when it comes to editing, like Kelly says. It's not something we really desire to learn more about. Kelly does most, if not all of that, and she enjoys it from time to time. But I don't.
It's like a fun, creative outlet, but it's not necessarily something I want to start making movies or something.
Yeah.
There's a point where it's just I know some basics and it's fun to play with the basics, but I'm pretty much okay with where I'm at knowledge wise in that category. I could learn more, but it's a lot. It can be a lot. And it's very impressive the amount of work video editors and producers can go into their videos, because it really is not easy.
Yeah, so that's something we've been thinking about a lot recently. What's the best way to delegate some of that work out in order to get primarily to the volume and consistency we want? That's the biggest thing we've had trouble with. We want to do one video or two videos per week consistently every week. That's hard for us to keep up with. The next thing on the list here, Amazon Prep Center. This is something that I started utilizing probably end of 2020. So for inventory that I don't find locally here in Anchorage, Alaska, that I end up shipping from the supplier, I try to often ship it to a prep center in the lower 48. They open the boxes, they verify the contents, they let me know what's there, they prep them and send them to the Amazon warehouses for me. This way, I never have to touch or even see that inventory. I've sold tons of stuff. I don't know what it is in general other than the picture I see on Amazon, which is kind of funny. But it's been a huge help in boosting and scaling this business. I save so much time by doing that. And I also, if I ran the numbers, probably save a ton of money by not shipping it to and from Alaska. That right there is a huge expense that I'm able to avoid by doing this. So it's probably safe to say I make more money by not doing it myself, which is awesome. The next one on the list here is, and this is one that I just started creating an application for, and hopefully we'll be hiring someone for in the coming weeks, an Amazon virtual assistant for sourcing inventory leads. So this would be a role where someone would review potential inventory leads, make sure they're profitable, have the right sales velocity, and available at the right price. Some days I spend 5 or 6 hours a day doing this. Probably on average, I probably spend, 20 hours a week doing this myself. So right there, if I'm able to outsource that 20 hours, have someone else do that for me and pay them whatever that's worth, that's going to free up a lot of time for me to focus on other aspects of that Amazon business or other businesses as well. So I'm real excited about that one, and hopefully maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that in one of our upcoming podcasts, how I'm going to go about actually hiring a virtual assistant, interviewing them, making sure they're the right one for the job, and as well as training and creating those kind of standard operating procedures. These are my expectations, what I want done, and how I want it done.